Alright, what's going on? It's your boy Lex, and today we have another Try Hard Ladder video. As you can see, we are very close to the top. We are number 25 during OLT season in 1981. We decayed a little bit. And the team we're going to be using is created by ZavGB, one of the more respected SVOU players on the website. And he made this T-Tar bulky offense, kind of, boot spam. It features Rorza, offensive Zapdos, and I think it just creeps, what's it called, Iron Crown, although it could be max speed because Manaphy technically exists, so maybe that's better. You got Rillaboom with boots. Rillaboom with boots is meant to counter stuff like Garganacil, Garganackle, things like that. Defensive Goldango with enough speed to outspeed Dragapult after paralysis, although I guess that's probably never happening. 4 attacks Tyranitar with max speed. Oh, we're actually missing an EV. But pretty good coverage. Knock and Stonage are so incredibly strong. Low kick just to be stronger into Tinglu and stuff like that if needed. And then you have Garchomp with max hazards and Terra Ghost to spin block. This team, I would say, is very weak to things like weather, and stall. If you don't run into those two archetypes, weather as in rain or sun, more common sun, of course. If you don't run into those two archetypes, then you're probably chilling. But if you run into those, it's going to be really, really hard to switch into things like Walking Wake, like Barraskewda with Rain Up, Ogerpon with Rain Up, stuff like that. But besides that, I think it gives you a lot of chance to outplay. So I'll link the team down below if anybody wants to try it out. But for now, we're going to get it a ladder game, and I'll see you for that. All right, our first game is versus an OLT player. So they're probably pretty high up if they're facing me right now. 1861. Okay, cool. Their team looks really cheap. They're obviously trying to deny hazards with Glamora and Hatterene, and then some kind of Life Orb Ceruledge, probably some kind of Sash Ceruledge, maybe. SD Gliscor is my guess. Nasty Paw Darkrai, and then some kind of Dice Dragonite seems right. Sand is really gonna help versus that D-Knight though, so that'll be cool. In terms of lead, what should we lead into them? I think Garchomp is not a bad lead because it kind of scares them, but if they lead Darkrai, that's pretty annoying. So Loki, I'm kind of down for like Rillaboom. Actually, no, I think it has to be Zapdos because if it's Glamora, we're just going to Volt Switch unless there's Scarf, which we'd be very sad about. But I'm expecting this not to be Scarf. And then if it's Darkrai, we just Volt Switch again, so it's not a problem. So they just go for a Meteor Beam, which is going to do a lot to us, but we actually dodge, which is very fortunate. And I'm actually going to go Zapdos here, because if they Gleam us, that might do a lot to our Garchomp, and we kind of want Garchomp HP for the Ceruledge. Versus Gliscor, expecting it to be offensive, we're just going to go for a Cane. Yeah, that does so much damage, Jesus Christ. And now we're going to Volt here. So dodging that Meat Beam, pause. Dodging that Meteor Beam is actually a really big deal. And it kind of enables the rest of our squad, which is great. Now we're going to go Rillaboom because it should force out most things on his team. Yeah, like if he goes Dragonite, we're just going to U-turn. Oh, that did a lot. That's Choice Band Dragonite for sure. It is a pretty free T-Tar though. And now we can just click a fairly free Ice Punch as well. And there's no problem with that. Our Rillaboom is at 1 HP, which is kind of tough, but I think we're okay. Okay, we do catch the Gliscor. That's great. Oh my god, we actually OHKO with Ice Punch? That has to be like 0 offense invest on Gliscor, because there's no way that's normal damage. Here, I'm kind of down to actually Terra, because they're obviously trying to Focus Blast us, and this is like low-key a big threat. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to Terra low kick, Terra fighting low kick, which should knock it out. Nice. Okay, it's looking pretty good for us, but he still has a Ceruledge, which you can never count out. That thing is always going to be scary. Here they go Dragonite. Presumably, they're just going to click Outrage. And because we are defensive Goldango, we easily chew that. And since we don't get to a KO'd, we can actually fish for a paralysis here. Like, unless he crits us, then we're fine. Or, I mean, if he crits us, it's not so good, but it's fine to play those odds. He is locked into Outrage, so it should be a relatively free recover after Thunderwave. Yep. We can go for recovery here. He's left an outrage. He's probably just trying to sack it, go for an endgame Ceruledge sweep. Okay, we get the para. I'm thinking of the best way to sequence it so we don't lose the Ceruledge. I think we just have to keep Goldango at 100% HP. I think we're chilling then. And we still have Garchomp at 100 HP because we dodged the Meat Beam, which is nice. So we get some big Hex damage off. And here we're just going to fish for a para. We have 6 recovers, so 6 chances, including Confusion as well. He's locked into Outrage because it's not showing Confusion. But we're still just going to be fishing for para. Now he's confused. We're going to try to get a para or Confusion here. We want to keep Gold at 100 HP so we can guarantee get a T-Wave off. But it looks like it's not going to happen. We only have 2 left. And he does hit himself finally. Okay. So now we can just go for a Hex. Now Hatterene is in. Presumably it's just going to try to... It's probably Assault Vest is my guess. But I think we can just make it rain, and that's fine. Okay, so it's not Assault Vest. It was probably some Calm Mind, but like we said, he just wants that last Monstera Lich to come in. We're going to go for a Thunder Wave here. If we connect, it should just be game over. Because +2 Sneak is not going to knock us out unless he's Terra Ghost. And if he's Terra Ghost, T-Tar comes in, knocks off, and it's over. Yeah, that Hex even at -1 does so much damage, by the way. Alright, here we're just going to Zapdos, I think should be free. Zapdos and Volt Switch. Because we can just go ahead, sack Rillaboom. He's not going to heal too much from Bitter Blade. Well, now we can actually just Grassy Glide. And even if he gets the Speed Raise, it doesn't matter because Zamazenta will always outspeed a Paralyzed Ceruledge. And now we can just go Zapdos, Volt Switch to knock this out. He reveals Terra Ghost, but it's still not enough to knock out Zapdos, and we get a nice win over this very interesting looking Hyper Offense team. And yeah, I will see you guys for the next game. Alright, we have our next game, and it's versus a very interesting looking team. Nothing I've ever seen before, honestly. If I had to guess what the sets were, Scarf Meowscarada, definitely choice. Maybe even Spikes, honestly. Like, I guess it could be Spikes boots. I would assume AV, Aloe, maybe. Maybe Nasty Plot Gold, DD Knight, Magma, Rocks Tran, 3 attacks Tusk, something like that. Overall, though, I wonder what our best lead is. It's probably Zapdos. So they lead Meowscarada. Axel's really free for them, honestly. We could actually just tear Zapdos, but I feel like that's not a good play. I think right play might be Za. Okay, so they actually switch out. That's fine. They bring in Heatran. So the reason they switched out Meowscarada, I actually don't know. I feel like Axel is pretty free even if you get paired. But Aloe was really obvious from them there. So it's a defensive Aloe, and I can just get up my rocks here. They're fishing for a Scald Burn. They do not get it, which is nice. We can get Spikes up now. They're fishing for another Scald Burn. They continue to not get it, which is cool. Here, I'm actually going to go Zapdos. We don't care if Zapdos gets burned, which it doesn't. Cool. And we're actually going to Volt Switch. Their Heatran is taking all of the hazards, plus a Volt Switch. And now we just bring Chomp back in. And it's kind of like, what are you going to do now? Like, it's seems like a pretty great position for us. Okay, so Meowscarada is boots. We did consider that possibility, and it ended up being true. We can just Zamazenta on this as it spikes, presumably. Yeah. And now we can go for a Roar, expecting Aloe to come back in. If we get Heatran, we're doing a lot of good ship on it. But it turns out to be gold. I'm actually just going to crunch here. Yeah, because it looks like Scarf if it's not Balloon. Got a very nice crunch off. And then we can go Zapdos here, expecting Tusk or Aloe, sure. Now, once again, Volt Switch is quite free, even if it is... Actually, there's no way it's Miracle, because it's Scald, right? Surely not. Okay, he actually gets a Wish Up. Interesting. We'll get another Spike then. Yeah. And then we'll go back to Zapdos. And I guess they'll just try to Wish Heatran up? Yeah. But Heatran's taking all that damage, all those hazards. So we can actually bring Tar here. The Wish does heal it up quite a bit. We can go for Knock though. Like this thing losing lefties permanently enables our Zapdos a lot. Okay, Meowscarada comes in. We don't need our Zama for anything, so I'm totally fine just switching Zama in here. So they go for Flower Trick. That actually did a lot because they're overgrown Meowscarada. I don't know if you noticed the spike did not show Protean, so it's pretty obviously Scarf. Here I'm down to just CC. Because Meowscarada would die to if it switched out, so there's probably not too much of a reason for them to do that. But here we'll just CC, knock ourselves out the sand. Although low-key keeping the sack might have been nice. Oh wait, I forgot sand doesn't run out. That's me being a silly guy. We'll Zapdos here. They're gonna flip turn probably, or just go Goldango, sure. This is a free Heat Wave for us though. It's gonna do a lot, yeah. It puts it into Volt Switch range. But honestly, we can actually roost once as they go Heatran, yep. And now we can just Volt Switch here. We're chipping this Tran extremely low. I don't mind going Tar here. We don't need Tar for anything besides breaking Multiscale and D-Knight. Yeah, like even if they get rocks up, it's like whatever. I will just click Knock. Probably sack Meowscarada, but they actually go Tusk, which is interesting. Here, I don't mind sacking Za. I think Za has outlived its purpose for sure. Yeah, because I didn't want to go Ice Spinner versus my blue and gold. And now we can go ahead and just go for a Make It Rain. Should be pretty free. They decide to go Aloe, sure. We can actually Chomp and they might die to Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet if they flip turn. Okay, actually go Dragonite. Interesting. And we'll just Detail here because we don't want this to set up. And if they Ice Spinner, they break their scale. Gold is back in, which means Zapdos because it outspeeds us and he knows that. I'll just Roost here. I assume Meow is finally being sacked now, but they actually go D-Knight. We're going to Volt into T-Tar, I think. That should be a safe play. They're actually Dragon Tail bulky. Okay, that's great for us. Now we know it's not going to sweep us. So we can just knock it off now. So go for Roost, sure. They go for E-Speed here to get some chip on us. But now we can actually bring Tar in, and with Grassy Terrain, we wall the Dragonite, which is kind of cool. Just go for an Ice Punch. Alright, so they go for Terra Normal. Oh, that's really interesting. I think Hurricane actually knocks this out. Yep, because we're max special attack Zapdos. Ridiculously strong. Now they're going Great Tusk, but we're keeping these hazards up, unfortunately for them. So we're going to hard Goldango and not risk any misses. I'm down to just click Hex here. Yeah, this is fine. And now they're in range of Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet perfectly with the Hazard Chip and Hex. So they can't even spin here. And that's a forfeit. Yeah, we're getting some great matchups right now. I'll see you for the next game. 2010. Alright, we have our next game, and we are facing the most insane team I've ever seen. And they have a pretty good GXE and ELO, so definitely can't underestimate. Luckily, we do have Cheetar into Hail, which is kind of nice. The Hail is going on in this team. But we're going to lead Rillaboom. Rillaboom looks great. It beats like everything. Also, the music is way too loud. Give me a sec. Alright, they decide to lead King Gambit. I wonder if they ever would respect a fighting move here from Rillaboom, but probably not. They probably just stay in and Katal or whatever, or even get up Rocks maybe. This could be Rocks King Gambit if it's leading. Okay, they opt to just get some Sucker Punch chippage in. Now we're gonna go Chomp. I'm actually down to double the hat here, or double the Rillaboom here, expecting hat to come in. We get some extra terrain heals for our Rilla, and also it's just kind of nice, yeah. Although I guess they could just stay in with King Gambit. So, yeah, it's fine. You know what, nah. Hmm. Nah, let's go back to Rilla. Like, they could soar. Actually, if they soars, that's kind of annoying. Hmm. We could mid-ground Zapdos, baby. I'm kind of down for that. Okay, hat does come in. We're actually going to click Cane here, expecting Rhyperior to maybe come in on Volt Switch. And if this hat takes the Cane, it's going to do like 60 or something. 57, not bad. They click Mystical Fire, though. Alright, here I'm down to Volt Switch. Even if they go Rhyperior, it is what it is, right? I don't really need Zapdos for anything now that I see it. I wonder if Rhyperior's Heat Crash for Balloon Goldengos. Definitely possible. But I expect them to either stay in and kiss or double Rhyperior. Rhyperior looks really free. Like, surely that's the click here. But it's not like we have a great switch into hat or Draining Kiss anyways, so no reason to risk. Alright, here we're gonna go... What's more useful? Goldango Balloon or Zamazenta Defense? Probably Goldango Balloon, honestly. I'm gonna go Za here. Okay, cool. So they were just trying to break our balloon, which makes sense. I guess we'll just go for a close combat. I don't know if this is going to be like counter or something insane, like weakness policy maybe. I could definitely see weakness policy. But CC looks free. Okay, they bring in hat. This is their way of scouting Heavy Slam. But I think we have to reveal it anyways because like I said, we don't really have a great switch into hat in the first place. So definitely worth it to just reveal it. If we force a Terra here, perfect. A lot of their team is dependent on Terras to do damage. Okay, they actually go Dragonite. Interesting. I guess I'll just roar? Not sure what this is going to click here. But if it clicks Terra, that would be great. I doubt it, but, you know, who knows? Opponent is thinking a lot, though. Their timer has been dropping down pretty low. Maybe they're in multiple games? No. Okay. So Rhyperior is roared out to bring Hat back in. I guess we'll just click Heavy Slam again. Maybe they decide to Terra this time. Again, we're definitely thankful if they go for the Terra. That would be pretty great. Okay, they just bring in Rhyperior instead. Weakness policy? Question mark. No weakness policy. Now I'm actually down to go Goldango. Yeah, because I expect them to just Earthquake there. And now it's a very free Make It Rain. We'll find out if they're Heat Crash now. But no item revealed is really interesting. Like, I truly have no idea what this Rhyperior could be. Okay, they just go King Gambit. That's fine. Make It Rain does a bunch of damage. And now we can just go Chomp, honestly. They don't really have a great way to deal with Chomp. Honestly, I expect them to switch out here. So I'm kind of down to Make It Rain again. But that would be pretty insane and unnecessary because the balloon is nice. Okay, so they actually go D-Knight. We're just going to Dragon Tail here. All right, they go Hat. Sure, we're going to fire off an Earthquake now. Because the Helm and the Rough Skin should offset the healing they get from Draining Kiss. We'll see. This is a pretty interesting endgame, though. I just realized Garchomp also beats Iron Boulder. So, low-key preserving it would have been nice, but it's fine. Okay, that Drain Kiss did way more than I thought, actually. And we definitely don't out-heal it. Wow, okay. Or out-damage it, rather. That actually did a ridiculous amount of damage. Okay. Now we have to go Goldango. And now we're going to make it rain. Okay, this hat is healing way too much HP up. I don't like that. Now we're going to go back to Garchomp. kind of making obvious plays right now, but I don't really feel bad about it. I think it's fine. Okay, now Dragonite's back in. Is it gonna Ice Spinner me here? Guess it might. I'll go Goldango here. We'll scout out what it's trying to do. Okay, it does go for Ice Spinner. And now we're gonna go for a Thunder Wave. Alright, cool. You grab the Dragonite with the Thunder Wave. Now we can just go for a Hex, I think. It's probably fine. We should live in Earthquake or anything. I wonder what this Dragonite set actually is. It's pretty interesting. Alright, now I'm going to go Zapdos expecting Earthquake to come out. We could actually lose to this Dragonite, now that I think about it. But let's see. We're going to go for Volt Switch. And then here, I think we're forced to bring Tar in. It's actually Roost. So it's Ice Spin or Earthquake. Probably Terra Ground is my guess. That's a little tricky. But we're going to go back to Zapdos. Yep. And now we're going to go for a Hurricane because it should always 2 a KO. And maybe even force a Terra out right now. Okay, connecting that Hurricane is a really big deal. Because now we can go... Oh, what do we even go? I guess we go Za and roar it out. We actually don't... Unless Knockoff from Rillaboom is able to knock it out. But something about me doubts that. My cat's tail is going fucking crazy right now. So if you guys see a misclick, it is because of her. Okay, Rillaboom Knockoff does not kill for sure. It might have to be Zama and Roar, honestly. Yeah, I think it does have to be that. I mean, we could go for a knock. I feel like that doesn't accomplish much. Alright, let's just Zama. And let's just roar it out. I guess we could technically crunch once, and it's fine. In case they decide to just Earthquake us. I expect Roost to probably come out. But on the off chance they do Earthquake, getting the chip is probably better. Yeah, they do just Earthquake, great. Okay, threat is relatively neutralized. We can go for a CC here. And we still keep our Za, which is awesome. We kind of came out that unscathed. We did get a fortunate para on the Zapdos, though, of course. But I'm pretty sure they clicked Earthquake, for whatever it's worth. Alright, now Gambit is back in, which means Chomp is back in. They could make a nice play go Hat here. They don't, they just go for Sucker. Now we can just Earthquake twice. And that's guaranteed gonna make us progress, because if they go Ninetales, we just bring T-Tar in, and unless they're Snowscape, we should be fine. Okay, they do decide to bring Ninetales in. That did a lot. This is like offensive Ninetales. Hold on. Yeah, that did way too much. But I think we have to go Tar anyways because we can't let Veil go up. There's Snowscape, so it doesn't even matter. Okay. Well, they get their Veil up and we miss Stone Edge. Oh, that's bad. Oh, yeah, that's really bad. Kind of have to hard Rillaboom here. Oh, missing the Stone Edge is real rough because now they have multiple chances to get screens up. Usually you would beat this kind of team by making sure Ninetales can only get them up once. They go for Rock Polish, which makes me think this thing is going to Terra. So I'm just going to U-turn. It's probably going to Terra Swords Dance, but Grassy Terrain? Okay, it's not actually. It's definitely Dice. Okay, that's really bad that they didn't even have to Terra. Shoot, I don't actually know what we do here. I think we have to Terra Chomp and Dragon Tail. Wait, why is this Rhyperior a Giga Threat because he got free screens on us? That sucks. Yeah, I think we have to Terra here, which means we lose to Iron Boulder, like almost guaranteed. Yeah, this is a loss. That's unfortunate. But we'll try our best. Alright. Okay, so they're Terra Fairy. Wow, okay. I just this is real tough. We could have had our Terra for gold, but now we can't do anything about this. Just gonna SD up to max for free, and we are gonna take a loss. I mean, Jesus, our opponent still had a pretty cool set, and it's pretty interesting, but missing that Stone Edge really, really sucked because it meant I could knock off the Rhyperior with my Rillaboom. But it is what it is. Like, we probably still lost anyway, so we'll just forfeit and move on to our last game. Yeah, when I think about it, Tar definitely could have knocked off the Rhyperior because we no longer need T-Tar once Hail's gone. But unfortunately, him living means that Hail stays up. But honestly, Snowscape Ninetales is a really good pick into this meta right now because of all the T-Tars around. So it definitely makes a lot of sense, and I definitely respect the pick. But, you know, still sucks. I feel like we lost our only chance to win that. All right, we have our final game of this video, and we are facing Giga Hyper Offense. This is exactly what Hyper Offense looks like. Glamora, Landorus, the Booster, the Ogerpon, the Ghost type, and the King Gambit. So, looks like very, very standard offense. We're going to lead Zapdos. Go for a Volt on the Glamora, like we did in the other game. Hopefully it's not Scarf Glamora, because, you know, it technically could be with Lando as the alternative rocker, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, Glamora is the lead of choice. We're going to go for another Volt Switch again, because, you know, this looks like red card, though. Forces in our Zamazenta, which is kind of bad, honestly, because we lose our defense boost versus the Gambit leader. I'm going to try to get Rocks up, but it might be Taunt Lando, which it unfortunately is. Now we're going to go Zapdos, because it being Taunt means that Zapdos will always wall it. And we can go for a max special attack Hurricane, which should do quite a bit of damage to this King Gambit even. And now Heat Wave is going to do a ridiculous amount. But low-key, I want to Volt to Garchomp to get my hazards up. They go for a nice Sucker Punch for Chip on Zapdos. That should set up their Ogerpon a little bit. But we're going to go for Rocks now. We're also going to go for Spikes, expecting them to trade hazards. And now we can go Zapdos, knowing that we wall this forever. Yep. And now these Hurricanes are really going to hurt if we connect them. 70% can't be too mad about that. All right, Ogerpon is in. I'm going to hard switch Rillaboom. That's kind of the point of having a Rillaboom, is you have a relatively free switch into Ogerpon. We're actually going to Glide here in case he's U-turn or knockoff. We're going to put this at very low HP. But Landorus also makes sense, and now it's a free U-turn for them. I actually don't mind going Garchomp on the U-turn, because it's going to chip this into Grassy Glide range in the future after it takes rocks. Yep. Ogerpon is back in. We actually live Cudgel without crit, so... and Play Rough, for that matter. So this Ogerpon, if we connect the Dragon Tail, should be knocked out. Alright, now Glamora is back in. We want to keep our hazards up. It is our main way of survival, so we're going to go Goldango. They try to go for the Mortal Spin, but we are never going to let that happen, probably. I saw a world that... No, it's definitely possible if I stay in with Garchomp, expecting them to just... Wait, we outspeed them, I'm pretty sure, because Glamoras with red card are usually max defense. I'm pretty sure Chomp might have outsped. Oh well. It don't matter. Alright, we knock out the Glamora. Cool. Now King Gambit is in. I am down to sack Chomp and then hard switch, or not hard switch, bring in Tar. Yeah, the thought crossed my mind to greedily hard switch T-Tar on Swords Dance, but luckily we didn't go for that. Alright, they bring Lando in, which means we just bring in Zapdos once again. They do have a sack now because of that, but that's whatever. We'll just sack Zapdos here. We don't need it at 1 HP. Life Orb Pull implies it's the special mixed version or it's some kind of Dragon Dance set. Either way, I think Zama is correct always. Even if it's Will-O-Wisp, I think we're fine. I could see a Draco just coming out right now, but who knows? It could also be Adamant Dragon Dance Darts, which is definitely possible too. So if they are Adamant, then they're definitely going to switch to Lando and sack that, and then bring Valiant in. If they are not Adamant, then they're just going to drop a Drake on us or Wisp us, something like that. Opponent's thinking real hard. This is a very pivotal turn, depending on their set. But the fact that they didn't go for Will-O-Wisp probably implies that it's Adamant. So they're thinking to sack Lino, bring Valiant in. Yep, that's what happens. I'm totally fine with that. I'm actually going to go for Roar here. Even if he encores us, I think we're okay. Well, maybe not, actually. We might not be okay. Alright, let me think about this. That's a hard Goldango. On the Combined, I think? On the Swords Dance. Okay, well now I'm definitely going to Terra if it's Swords Dance. I'll just Terra make it rain. Yeah. The fact that they revealed Swords Dance instead of Combined is a huge deal, because no matter what it does, Close Combat Knockoff is not getting through Goldango. That's a Thunder Wave here. Okay, so this dies, sure. I don't really want to give them terrain, but I'm pretty sure we can just glide into Woodhammer and we're fine. And then Tar can come in, knock it off. It's not going to heal leftovers anymore. Yeah, I'll just Woodhammer. Yeah, because they have to get a Swords Dance to have a chance. And we always deny that by clicking Woodhammer in the first place. Overall, our rank did it change? Like, we got like maybe like 15 elo or something like that. But overall, this team does give you a lot of tools to outplay, but there are some really bad matchups, and also you're susceptible to random cheese. Like that right here that just happened. But weather, I would say, we didn't face against weather, but weather I would definitely say is the hardest part for this team to deal with. Overall though, pretty decent team. Shouts to all you viewers, shouts to all my members, especially Meldogs, my homie. And yeah, I will catch you guys very soon. Peace and take care.